Welcome into the ArtGibbs Sports Business Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you've ever watched an auto race, you'll notice you can hear the team radios, the team garages, the directors of the team talking to the drivers, talking strategy, talking upcoming issues that they might face, how to monitor their car. Of course, one of the famous exchanges is in Formula One with Kimi Räikkönen in the 2012 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where he's leading. And of course, the team director comes over the radio and says, I'll keep you up to date. I'll keep you monitored on Alonso. And of course, Kimi famously replies, yeah, just leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. Now, normally the team radio is not that interesting or not that fascinating, but it does add to the fun and excitement of watching a sporting event. It adds to the intimacy of watching the sporting event, makes you more a part of it when you're watching it on TV. Well, now the Tour de France is following suit. Tour de France followed F1 in the Drive to Survive series, where they made their own Netflix series, similarly following the Tour last year. Now the Tour de France is following suit on some of the radio communications, and we've already started to see some of those radio communications be sprinkled into the broadcast this year in the Tour de France. So what do we know about these radio communications, how it came about, what the teams are getting, etc.? The detail that we have so far is as follows. This is mostly according to L'Equipe. Basically, the broadcast audience will now be able to hear from 17 teams, 17 team directors talking to their riders. 5 of the teams did not participate. The 5 teams that did not participate are Cofidis, Movistar, Jayco Alula, and Alpecin de Koenig, so you won't hear from them. There will be a few minute time delay to help with strategy and not giving away too much. And then additionally, there'll be a team of 6 people that were selected pre-race, and they'll form a panel and they'll monitor the transmissions from a technical area along the Tour de France route, and they'll determine what goes out and what stays private as far as those communications. The teams, it's an agreement between the team union of sorts that's headed up by the Jumbo-Visma head and ASO, who owns the Tour de France. It was an agreement between the two of them that was signed, and the teams the teams that participate will receive an average of 5,000 euros per team, and this is a 2-year contract. So the way I read it is that it's 5,000 euros for 2 years that the teams will receive who participate in this. That doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it's some money, I guess, and it should add to the TV product. Now, we've talked about it before on this podcast, but the ASO takes the majority of the TV money, and the teams are then able to sell their sponsorship space on their jerseys. In this case, it looks potentially similar. ASO, according to the L'Equipe article, will sell this additional service of the team radio broadcasting content to the TV providers that want it. And then, of course, they'll have some payment go to the teams. Just to kind of touch on this that we touched on with a previous episode, the Drive to Survive series, the Netflix series, the Tour de France did, the teams that participated in that got reportedly 50,000 euros each. So the teams are getting some money for these content add-ons, but the status quo kind of before that was that the teams competed for prize money, and the teams obviously used the platform of being broadcast to the tour's wide audience to sell sponsorships to support their team, but they did not receive a share of the TV money from the Tour de France. And that basically remains the same with the exception of these additions. So we'll see how it goes. It's already started to be added into some of the stages, and it's been somewhat interesting. We've learned new and interesting terms like the washing machine of the peloton and bubble around riders and all of those kinds of things. And I think as the stages go on and as it becomes sprinkled in more, it should add to the excitement and the intimacy of watching the Tour de France. So Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day.